The Lighthouse Keeper's Lunch. Oh, hello, my beautiful friends, and welcome to our lesson on the Lighthouse Keeper's Lunch. Oh, I did have it round the right way. Silly Mrs. Adams. I hope you enjoyed the story. It was a lovely story, and it's a really old story that I've known for a long time. And in the story, in the beginning, Mr. Grinling, he's a lighthouse keeper. In the daytime, he rows out to his lighthouse to clean and polish the light. And every day, he's very lucky because his wife, Mrs. Grinling, sends out a delicious basket of food on a wire to him. That's an unusual way to get your lunch, isn't it? Now, hungry seagulls eat up all Mr. Grinling's lunch before it reaches him one day. Mr. and Mrs. Grinling have to come up with a clever plan to try and stop them. In the end, Mr. Grinling tricks the seagulls by putting mustard sandwiches in the basket. The seagulls decide to go somewhere else to eat, and eventually Mr. Grinling can enjoy his lunch again. Have you ever tried mustard? I love hot English mustard, but sometimes if you have a bit too much, it feels a bit steamy or smoky coming out. It's quite hot, like chili. No wonder the seagulls didn't like it. Now let's talk about some of the words from the story. There's three really interesting words I want to talk about. The first word is the word devour. Can you say the word devour? What's that first sound you can hear? Devour. That's right. It's the d. Devour. Devour. How many syllables can you hear? Devour. That's right. 2 syllables. If you said 2, give yourself a pat on the back. Now, in the story, the seagulls devoured Mr. Grinling's lunch. When you devour your food, you gobble it up really quickly. This means because you're really, really hungry, or perhaps it's just your favourite food and you really like to eat it. The seagulls thought the lunch was delicious, so they gobbled it up. They devoured the lunch. Show me how you might look when you're devouring your favourite food. I know I really love Chinese fried rice. When I'm eating Chinese fried rice, I devour it very quickly because I love it. I want you to tell a friend next to you, what's something that you might devour? I think I heard some yummy foods. Okay, the next word in the story is the word scrumptious. Can you say scrumptious? Scrumptious. How many syllables? Scrumptious. 2 syllables. That's right. When you say the word scrumptious, you're saying that food tastes really delicious. It means you think it's wonderful. The seagulls really enjoyed eating Mr. Grinling's sandwich. They said it was scrumptious. Now, I know I said that devour means you really like it. Devour is a verb. It's a doing word. It's something you do. You eat. Scrumptious is describing that food. Can you think of another food, a different food that you think is scrumptious? I know they're not so good for you, but sometimes I love salt and vinegar chips. I think they're scrumptious. Of course, they're a sometimes food. Can you tell a person next to you a food that you think is scrumptious? Now, the final word from the story is the word ingenious. That's a big word. Can you say ingenious? What an ingenious word it is. Ingenious is an adjective. It's a describing word. Mr. Grinling thought that the plan to get Hamish to guard his lunch was ingenious. Ingenious means very clever. I know I've heard you guys have had many ingenious ideas that I've heard of. Mr. Grinling thought that Mrs. Grinling's idea was so clever to use Hamish to protect the lunch because he was good at chasing seagulls. As it turned out, it wasn't such a good idea, was it? Poor Hamish felt quite sick when he was in the basket, and he wasn't much help. But the idea was a good one, and Mr. Grinling thought his wife was ingenious for thinking of that idea. Show me how you might look if someone shared an ingenious idea with you. Maybe like that. Or when someone thinks of an ingenious game to play. Show me that face. Okay, friends. Thank you for listening to these words this week. The 3 words that we're going to talk about again are devour, scrumptious, and ingenious. And I hope that you can use those words this week when you're playing, when you're talking, or when you're in class. Have a great week, everyone. Goodbye.